Welcome everyone to the first ever movie reviews with me, Zyda, and you guys with me, Ghost. And
What's up, everyone?
hey, so uh, this is our first time doing this. We're going to do movie reviews. Our first two movies we're going to do is Zack Snyder's Justice League and also Godzilla versus King Kong. These two movies, I guess, has kind of been the highlight so far of 2021 for me. I don't know about for you, Ghosts, but uh, yeah, they're really entertaining, really good, and I don't know. There's a lot to say. We'll dive deeper into it, but what was your first? We'll start off with Justice League, right?
Justice League, okay.
Uh, what was your initial reaction with this Justice League compared to the theatrical release?
The theatrical release, okay. So I've been waiting for this movie for a really long time, and I wasn't really sure if it really existed because I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder's work. I was a fan of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and when we got that theatrical version in 2017 that got taken over by Joss Whedon, it just it didn't feel like it connected at all to Batman v Superman and Man of Steel in terms of tone as well as story. Like it was kind of like its own thing. So when um, when it was announced that it was actually going to happen for HBO Max, I got super pumped, and I've been waiting 4 years? Is that 4 years? Seven,
I,
eight, nine, 10, 4 years?
I think so, yeah.
4 years for this true, I would call it the true Justice League because it connects the BVS, it connects to Man of Steel, like the characters are connected. And I was so blown away that um, I was so blown away by just the storytelling of it. Even though it's like 4 hours long, it feels like it goes quick. Like you can, like every minute is worth everything that I feel from the screen is worth watching. Like it's worth the 4 hours. I don't know. I was just in for a ride, and I feel like the payoff is great, especially for fans who are invested in the BVS storyline as well as Man of Steel. It's a good payout of film.
Mm. No, no, I definitely agree with you that the 4 hours did not feel like 4 hours to me either. Like it actually kept you engaged, and it wasn't as cheesy, I guess I would say, with the theatrical release.
Hmm.
For some reason, when I watched the theatrical one, I didn't even watch it in theaters, first of all. I watched it, I think, on a plane ride. So, uh, but they just made I don't know, like they made Flash really cheesy, which I didn't really like too much. I mean, he is more of the comic relief character, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
especially in the comics and everything. But it just didn't feel right. It didn't flow with everything else, I guess.
Hmm.
But the one with Zack Snyder's version, like even the jokes were different, right? And it
Hmm.
was more of that like quick one hit like punchline. It wasn't this like lingering, making Flash seem like a jittery idiot, I guess, right? I don't
Right.
know. I don't know how you feel about that, but the two difference of just with Flash. I don't know if you agree or if there's like uh you felt like it was fine either way.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like the characters are way more fleshed out, and it just feels like the material that you get in the 4 hour cut belongs to these characters that were in development for a really long time. I feel like the ones that you got from the 2017 version, which is only 2 hours, by the way, um, just didn't really develop Cyborg. It didn't develop Flash. In
Hmm.
fact, I would say, oh, disclaimer: this review is gonna have spoilers.
Oh yeah, I forgot to
That's gonna
say that
there's
at the
we're gonna
beginning.
talk we're gonna talk a lot of spoilers in the Snyder Cut as well as Godzilla versus Kong. So keep that in mind, viewer. Um, yeah. What was I saying again? Yeah, it just felt like Cyborg in the 4 hour cut is he's been defined as the heart of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of emotional beats in this story. There's a lot of like you see more of like Victor Stone's motivation, who he is, what he stands for. But in the 2017 version, he's kind of just a placeholder character with really no motivation. He's more secondary, and he's just there,
Yeah,
and he's
that's
just
true.
a cyborg. He's just literally just a cyborg that's just there. There's no actually he's not a cyborg. He's more of a robot in the 2017 version. And because of that, like like if you're invested into this story and or what this DC EU live stream version, you're getting like some sort of like watered down version of these characters. But in the 4 hour cut, you're going to get something that's fully developed, and it's going to be wrapped up with a whole bunch of themes. Like I would say myths, like mythology. You're going to get swamped with like epics. You're going to get swamped with heroics. And that's all captured in this 4 hour film. Um,
That's true.
what do you think, Zyda? Did you feel any of these type of themes or through the 4 hour cut versus the 2 hours?
So yeah, so definitely with the 4 hour cut, you feel more invested with all the characters instead of just the main three, I guess, right? With
Mm-hmm.
Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman that you already established something with the previous movies.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I guess I can say is I I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but I felt like Batman had such a downgrade for this movie, I guess. Um,
The 2017?
no. For well,
Oh,
for both still.
oh,
Um,
yeah. Not
with
as brutal.
yeah, like I don't know, he didn't feel like Batman to me, I guess, in a way.
Uh,
I watched it twice too, by the way. So I
nice.
watched 8 hours.
Nice.
um, but but like it didn't feel like Batman to me. Like he was
Mhm.
using alien weapons. I don't know if I've ever seen Batman use alien weapons.
Mhm.
Um, he was more taking a back seat as the one that just gets everyone together and let everyone else do what they need to do because they're the one with superpowers, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
like with the cartoons and the comic books, like he's still made as a badass even though he has no superhuman like abilities, right?
Mhm.
I guess that's the one down thing that I can say about the this release,
Mhm.
or both actually, would be um, Batman seems to be made like he's like this really weak person, and I don't agree with that. But I guess in a way, um, but as for the movie altogether, the way it started from the way it ended flowed so well. Um, you even got more attached with the villain, I guess, not in a like I care for this villain, but more in a like, ooh, this dude's like a badass, you know? Like
Yeah.
you get the reasoning why he's doing these things,
Yeah.
and it just makes everything feel I don't know, more cohesive. There, that's the word.
Nice.
I don't remember if the scene was in the 2017 release, but you know how I guess each Steppenwolf is going after all the mother boxes,
Mhm.
and did they ever show that in the 2007? Like him going to each one?
Yeah, it's still the focus in the 2017 version. He is still looking for the mother boxes, but
Okay.
it's just not really. It's not clear why he's looking for mother boxes. They don't. They totally removed the plot, the
Mm,
motivation plot of why they need those items from the 2017 version. In the
okay.
4 hour cut, you get the motivation why they're looking for these mother boxes, and it's some sort of alien technology that's also that can manipulate matter, and according to the people that know how to use mother boxes, it will form whatever your wish, whatever your background is from. So in this case, the three mother boxes unite, and since it's in the control of Steppenwolf, who's from this planet called Apocalypse, I believe, it will change the matter of that planet to Apocalypse. So
Okay.
that's why Earth, when Cyborg is trying to prevent the three mother boxes from uniting, it basically like it unites, and then it kind of goes into this end of the world segment where you just see everything getting destroyed, and it ultimately forces the Flash to go back in time to prevent that moment. And so basically Earth was going to get remattered. Matter's neither created nor destroyed, right? It was going to get it was going to transform into Apocalypse, and then basically Darkseid would come in and claim his prize of glory. And you do not get that at all in the 2017 cut. They removed that completely, and it doesn't serve the Flash as a character or his motivations or your time to be invested in that character in the 2017 version, because they removed that pretty much iconic scene, I would say, in comic book history. Yeah. I had no idea like he would actually go back in time, and this is like the first time we actually see the Flash in or I mean longer than a cameo in a movie.
That's true. So I always thought, you know how I guess when he reverses time, he's supposed to already have picked up that speed to be able to reverse time. Is that true, or am I just like thinking something different? Because in the movie, you know, it just seems like he just starts off like reversing time already.
I have a feeling he already has a sense of his abilities, and he knows he's a smart guy, and I could tell that he may have done something where he did go back in time unexpectedly, like he may have done it, and it feels like it was a rule that he isn't meant to break, like, and that's why like that scene is important. It's like you have to break this one rule, and you have to do this thing, because I have a feeling he may have broke through the, you know, with curiosity, you're like, why is there this light that's like so far away from me? And if I had these abilities, I'm gonna race towards that light. But then what he's actually doing is he's approaching the speed of light. Yeah. And so when you pass the speed of light, then you're gonna reverse time. And it's just one of those things of like curiosity that, of course, I think if we have like an origin story of the Flash, I think we're gonna get the Flash film next year. I think it's supposed to be in production soon. I think it should convey like the rules of like of the Flash. Like, these are the rules that I can't break because there's just a natural order to things. I think we'll see that in the movie. I think the rules will be explained of how the Flash works.
Okay. I see. All right. So how do you feel about the black what was it, costume for Superman?
The black suit?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that okay, my favorite scene in the Snyder Cut is basically when Superman saves the day, the not impressed moment.
Yeah.
Because it just shows how OP Superman is. And it's also like, I know there's a lot of backlash about Man of Steel because of the way Superman is depicted. And that scene is kind of like, okay, there's the Superman that the mainstream wants, the one that's like, he's here to save the day, he's gonna do what he does, he's Superman, right? Mm-hmm. And that, for me, it just hits so many beats because of the emotional beats, because of the music, because he has the black suit, and because it just brings us back to Man of Steel, of like this idea that when is it my time to show up in this world? Because if you recall in Man of Steel, like Jonathan Kent was like, he was in trouble, right, with the tornado, and then young Clark Kent was like, I'm about to save him, but then there's a lot of people watching that Jonathan Kent he sticks out his hand. He's like, he's like, no, because it's like, it's not your time yet. Yeah. You have to wait. Because like the rules of that world are pretty grounded. It's kind of it's a pretty dark world, right? Yeah, I
Hmm.
think it's like Zack Snyder's trying to make it as real as possible, and it's just, of course, we're like, yeah, if there's a dude who had like god tier powers, of course we're gonna be like, dude, we need this guy to like save everyone and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And who knows like how the world is going to thing. So like going back to what I was talking about, it just brings everything together. That moment when Superman, I don't know, maybe he gets a second chance, I would say, but honestly, it just brings his character to a full arc. That this is probably going to be that classic style Superman that we'll get
Mm.
in the future, and that's why I love that scene. And then he just beats the crap out of Steppenwolf, and you just see like why. You remember Steppenwolf says no lanterns, no Kryptonian. So
Yeah.
they've been at war with these various alien species for a while, I would say, and you can tell that Kryptonians have like a pretty big advantage as just a defender of the universe or of life in general. And we get that with Superman Kal-El. So that's why I love that scene.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, also, like, the mother box didn't awaken until Superman passed away, right? So it
That's
was their
true.
signal. That's
That's
what they
true.
also said. It's like, oh,
My God.
and that's all good. And then so,
Dude, oh,
I
but
was,
that opening scene is amazing. The one where he's like,
oh yeah,
"Ah!"
exactly. And then it's just
Oh my
sound
God,
wave, sound wave.
the sound
Yep,
wave,
that was pretty
dude.
good. And then it pans to all the mother boxes, and then the
Mm-hmm.
one that what is it called? Wonder Woman's Island. Starts
The
with a T.
Themyscira,
Yeah,
Themyscira.
there. Yeah. So that one cracks open, right, and awakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that whole battle scene was epic too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember that in the 2 hour version. Was that in there?
Dude. Oh, it was, but you only get like maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes of that
Okay.
whole epic like defense.
Yeah. Because I was like, man, this feels like 300, right? The one
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they're defending the uh, narrow pathway so that the
Mm-hmm.
Persians can't get in. That's exactly what it reminded me. It's like, oh, just and then when they sacrifice themselves, that was
Yeah.
crazy. It was all that. The chase scene from the sacrifice to the chase scene to Steppenwolf's just like murdering these
It's
female
great.
warriors.
It's crazy because in the 2017 version, they cut the sacrificing moment. Like they just,
Uh,
the doors just close and that's it. But you don't see the building actually collapse into the ocean. And
uh,
it just goes to show, like, it's like the stakes are real. This is a real villain. This is a guy that's going to cause destruction. And he, like, this technology, this mother box needs to be, it cannot be surrendered.
yeah.
That's just like the magnitude of it is is just up there. I would say. I agree with you completely.
How do you feel about the when they first introduced Darkseid?
Oh wait,
What?
what's your favorite scene? Zyda, I didn't get to ask.
Oh, my favorite scene.
Yeah,
Let me see. My favorite scene. Shoot, there's. I have to like go back and think about all this.
there's so much. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. There's a lot of scenes.
Mm, hmm. It's just gonna be a lot of noise. I'll have to come back to it.
Okay.
Like I don't want to like take too much time, but well, I'll think about it and then I'll get back to it. But
I, I also really like that one scene where Cyborg kind of like he helps that not kind of he does he helps that lady that diner lady.
oh, that's right.
That was pretty emotional.
That was I I that's when you like saw the true extent of
His
what
ability.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're like
yeah. You're right. You're
ooh,
right.
he could do all these things, you know, and it's like in the 2017 version you don't get that, right? You're just like he's just this guy and then he's gonna help save the world. Okay.
Yeah.
um but yeah, that scene was definitely good. Man, it's hard. Uh
I'll talk about the when the dark side thing while you think about
oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I was yeah, I've been I've been wanting to see Dark Side on the big screen for like the longest time, and I didn't think it was going to be possible because I didn't know the direction of what these movies were heading, and it sucks because I watched the 2017 version, and you do hear a line where Steppenwolf says for dark side. He actually says that, but it's like there's no dark side in the movie. There's no Granny Goodness. There's no Desaad. There's none of that. There's no apocalypse. You just get this villain that's just teleporting or boom tubing, I think, and getting these items, but you don't even know where he's from. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing. And because of that, like that 2017 version, it spoiled a lot of content for me because eventually I was doing a lot of research, and I became one of those fans that was just digging the rabbit hole and following the the crack the whatever the following the trail, and you would find out like there's actually another thing going on, and that there was an actor that was cast as Darkseid. So like I knew Darkseid was in the movie, and so like it was big for me. But knowing that I already had a bias, knowing that he is in the movie. If I didn't know he was in the movie, it would have been like, oh my gosh, Darkseid is in here. We're heading into like this new route that's going to introduce new gods, just like how Avengers, right? When it ended, you stayed for the credits, and then all of a sudden you saw Thanos, or right, I think Thanos right at the end, like the very,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
those
yeah,
cutscene things that they do at the end, the
yeah.
little Easter egg nuggets, and it was like, yeah, you got excited for like the upcoming Marvel movies because you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna lead to the Thanos basically, or the Infinity War. But like in this one, because like I wasn't sure if the Snyder Cut was, if we, I mean, we weren't sure if Snyder Cut was really going to happen. A lot of things were getting spoiled
Yeah.
because of that. So there was a game plan. It just it didn't fall through. But yeah, in the movie, yeah, I loved it. It's just I wish I came into it not knowing that Darkseid was in it.
Ah, okay.
But he is definitely a prominent appearance, as well as the new gods. They have a big role in that movie, and um, it's a shame that it feels like this is the end of Zack Snyder's work with the DC
Uh,
EU.
Hope not, man. Everyone's trying, you know, petitioning
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all right, I actually got the scene that I guess is one of my favorites. I guess it's just more that it's a teaser of what can be, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm talking about. It's the post-apocalyptic
Yeah,
dream that Batman has,
the
where
nightmare
they're in
scene.
the future, yeah, and then they're all hiding, and Earth's basically, you know, in a apocalyptic state. Darkseid
Mm-hmm.
and his gang
Mm-hmm.
has came over, uh, and then it shows you the crew that Batman's working with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And
true. Yeah.
you're just like, wow, this random crew, right?
Yeah, it is.
I must still say I don't like Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
Like his conversation with Batman was fine,
Yeah.
I guess, but I didn't have that. There was that one back and forth that they were having, right, where
Yeah. Yeah.
Joker's, laying it on Batman, like he knows what it means to lose a loved one, blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and then Batman comes back and shoots his shot at Joker,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like in that moment you could, I don't know, you could tell you wanted the Joker to have more of a two personality, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, because he's poking at him so much, and then you want him to get serious, right? But then it just seems like
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, he was just being serious, I guess. When he's poking
Joker.
at, yeah, when he's
Yeah.
poking at Batman, and then when Batman pokes back at him, saying, like, you know, what he said. I don't know if you want me to say, but like it's him saying Harley Quinn wants him to murder Joker and like
Yeah.
take pleasure in it, and he's like, I'm going to fulfill that promise, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's where you would like to see him, where he did that pause, which
Yeah.
was fine, right? I enjoy that pause, but it's more of the like, oh yeah, you got me, you
Yeah.
almost got me
Yeah.
there, right? Like you
Yeah.
wanted to see something more,
Yeah.
I guess, extravagant, I guess,
Hmm.
as you could say.
Yeah.
Um, but well, I'm trying to talk about what the whole dark side first introduced in the movie. You know how it's that flashback to when he first comes to Earth,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they have that whole war scene.
Yeah.
I
The epic.
guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it the way I guess it went down, but I've heard from other people that is like, oh, if he's supposed to be this all powerful, scared, villain, right?
Yeah.
How come he got defeated so easily in the first time introducing him?
He, I
But
would. Yeah.
go ahead.
He in that moment he's because if you it's you have to know the dark side character to know that in that moment he's actually Uxus, which is like his proto, like he's like still kind of young.
Yeah,
He's not a veteran yet. Like dark side is probably his like when he's like the master of his abilities, he can use omega beams and things like that. In this one he's still like a proto form, like he's still kind of he's dangerous. He clearly killed a Green Lantern,
yeah,
but he doesn't like. He's just more of like a brute force warrior at that moment, and that's why like he does get defeated. But it also gives weight to the old gods because that's Zeus and that's Ares, and
yeah,
you have to understand if you really want to get into DC characters that a lot of their characters pay homage to the old gods. That's like Greek mythology. These are like that's why they're like god tier. They have like god tier abilities, right?
yeah.
Because it's just connecting back to mythology. Like clearly Wonder Woman, Harry or the Flash is clearly is it Hermes or something
Hermes,
the
yeah.
fast dude. Um, and then Batman is someone. but
So,
but but like you in order to really appreciate these characters you gotta take into account that these are like super connected to the old gods, that Greek mythology does exist in this universe. That's why even Steppenwolf says something to Wonder Woman. He says, "You got the blood of the old gods," because he's
that's true.
referring to Greek mythology. He's referring to these more these beings or this mythology. That's why I love this movie, because it's connecting us back to like Greek mythology.
Mhm.
It's just not people that got zapped and then, well, that's what happened in the Flesh, right? And then and then they have powers and they could, they're OP. There's like a root to why they are the way they are, and that's what differentiates itself from Marvel characters, I would say.
Right.
And
No,
and
that's
to
true.
and to answer that question, yeah, if he was also powerful, why did he get defeated? It's yeah, the old gods, but at the same time, he's not dark side yet. He's Uxus, and he. Another argument was if how come he didn't know that the anti-life equation was on Earth?
Like, yeah,
Zack Snyder's. I actually inferred this. I figured that he got beat up so bad, or he got like he
gash.
forgot.
Yeah, yeah,
He,
yeah.
he,
Right.
he forgot. Like it looked like he was gonna die, right? Like
Yeah.
he literally got cut, and then it turned into like Mortal Kombat for me, and for some strange reason, like the graphics, because he was all alien and he's all blood, and then it just looked like Mortal Kombat. And then he passed out, so I think it's safe to assume that he just forgot because he got super defeated and time may have passed for him
Yeah. I
to
mean,
recover.
how many people are there that has been like knocked out or has been in like a coma or something and is like, I don't
Yeah,
remember what happened.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
like the last thing I remember was I was going to my car, right? So that's highly reasonable. Also, I agree with what you're saying with the whole like it's the old gods and everything, because that's what I said too. I actually watched when I watched it the second time. I watched it with Richard and Joe, and
oh
they're
wow,
the ones. Well, not well. They did bring it up too, like, oh, how come Darkseid got defeated so fast? I was like, well, look at like who he's going against, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like you can't just take away how powerful Zeus and Ares is, and then
exactly.
you also had the Green Lantern, even though
You're the Green Lantern.
he got murked, but yeah, like, but
Oh
that
man,
that's also something I want to see is, do you think they'll bring in a new Green Lantern?
So like I said, I've been following like a lot of what what's supposed to happen, and so this is crazy because we got Martian the Manhunter got revealed when he had a conversation with Lois Lane about basically you gotta come back to life. You know, you gotta return to work and stop like dwelling over the death of Superman or something like that.
Yeah.
And then at the end, where you get the nightmare sequence, and then Bruce Wayne wakes up again at his lake house. It's the Martian Manhunter.
Mhm.
But the thing is, the original cut, it was supposed to be two Green Lanterns, and
Oh, really?
one of them was supposed to be John Stewart.
Ah.
And that's why, like, if you read the dialogue, Bruce Wayne's like, "See you guys," or something like that. He says something that it doesn't seem like he's just talking to one person.
Nah, okay. Maybe I'll
And so
go back
there,
and watch that.
something like that. And then I think like we maybe a couple of like a week before the Snyder Cut came out, or maybe a week after, the original script of Justice League 2 and 3 came out, and one of the Green Lanterns, I think it was Hal Jordan, he returns back to Earth during the nightmare sequence.
Oh.
So there was already a Green Lantern, and then he just went off to in space, and then who knows how time like goes in outer space and how far he went. Like it could have been like that, like I don't know, hundreds of years or something happened, but he's supposed to return when the nightmare sequence begins.
Oh, okay.
But he comes to a world that what happened to civilization?
That's funny. But so I guess they took that out though, huh?
Yeah, so yeah, the whole Snyder cut, it's basically a war with the executives, the WB executives. It's the creatives versus the executives. Basically WB is reactionary, like especially with the people who are currently in charge. They're being very reactionary. They're being very receptive to the audience, and the reason why we got the Zack Snyder cut is because of Batman v Superman. I would say the reception of the Batman v Superman. I mean,
Do
we're
you think it
talking.
was the what was it, the unlimited edition? That one?
Oh, the director's cut.
The director's cut. Why I say
It,
unlimited edition?
no. This is what happened. You have two iconic. You have basically maybe the two most well-known comic book characters in history coming together for the first time in a live-action film, and the movie didn't even break $1 billion.
Hmm.
That's like as a whole, I think it maybe total was like 800 mil, which is still a lot of money. But then because of the success of like Disney Marvel, it just like a lot of their movies are breaking $1 billion, right? Like a couple, or like they're making a lot of money. I think the executives got scared with the reaction that BVS got. Like I think it sits at like 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, dang.
So
What the?
so it's like, dude, this is supposed to be the movie that's supposed to drive off all these other properties, but because of that thing, people weren't on board with how Batman was depicted or Superman, because of Man of Steel. I think it scared WB to tone down this world, and that's why we got that 2017 Justice League version that Joss Whedon shot.
Hmm.
And but I think because of the Snyder Cut and because of the more positive reactions to it, there's a possibility, I would say, that maybe WB's like, okay, what do we do at this point? Because another thing too is, oh man, this is crazy, Zyda. But the reason why the 2017 version is only 2 hours long is because the CEO at the time of Warner Brothers created like a mandate saying the film has to be 2 hours only. It can't go above it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's another like theory going around saying that before the 2017 version came out, AT&T was going to buy, or they're going to get WB. And because of that, the CEOs of that time, they're like, we need this movie to come out this year so we can get our bonuses.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's a huge conspiracy going on that Justice League may have got sabotaged because of ultimately corporate greed, and then at the same time the reception of BVS, and that's why we we got this cut, and or I would, like I said, it's the true. I would say it's the true version of Justice League.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it is basically it is because it's what the original director and the way he envisioned it out to be, right? So I'm glad that they actually decided to release it, because if we didn't get to see this version and we were just left with the 2017 version, that would have been I don't think we would have seen any more movies, man.
What
To
kind
be
of
honest.
movie starts off with a dude with a CGI, his mustache is CGI, and that's why Superman kind of looks like this in certain moments of the movie because he had a mustache. Henry Cavill had a mustache during Mission Impossible, and Mission Impossible was like, he can't shave it. So they did reshoots for Justice League, right? So
Uh,
like they had to CGI out the mustache. So sometimes Henry Cavill looks like odd because they they
oh man.
digitized his mustache out. It's a huge like slap to the face, honestly, to the creatives,
Yeah.
to the writers, like Chris Terrio. Like I love Chris Terrio's work, and if people realize if they think that that's Chris Terrio's work, no man, that's not Chris Terrio's work. I mean, you got to watch Argo to see Chris Terrio's work. And
Oh, Argo is good. Yeah.
right, yeah. So like you can't say this guy who wrote Argo did the 2017 version of Justice League. It just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it's heartbreaking when you find out like these things that may have prevented why the Snyder Cut had to go this way.
Hmm.
As
Well,
well as like being a fan of DC in general too. It just kind of yeah.
so how do you feel? Uh, do you think
Like
we'll
going
get more
forward,
Snyder? Yeah, more
going
Snyder.
forward, it sucks because I really more into the Snyder stuff. Like Shazam is fun. Um, the Birds of Prey, Emancipation of Harley Quinn is cool. Wonder Woman 1984 it was fun, but it just doesn't have these movies just don't have the stakes that I think Zack Snyder was doing in terms of drama, in terms of like storytelling. Like I've seen the movies, but I'm not talking about them.
Hmm,
I don't know why.
that's true.
But then
Actually,
what's up?
there's like quite a few that's that I didn't really care about.
See,
Like
and then
right.
that
So
too, you don't care about it because you can tell like I mean they're good, they're movies, and it's the new direction that they're doing, but there's something missing. There's something like safe about them, and at the same time it feels like they're trying to replicate the Disney Marvel stuff, which I really think they shouldn't do. But we're gonna get the Suicide Squad from James Gunn this summer, and I would say that will ultimately show what's going on or this new direction that we're heading into. That's under Walter Hamada, who is the president of DC Films, I think, at Warner Brothers.
mhm.
This will show like if this movie's good, then okay, I'll be on board with whatever's gonna happen because I know we're gonna have Black Adam with The Rock, and they're gonna bring in the Justice League Society, which are like other type of tier DC characters, which is cool. And we'll see. But then this guy's also has the attitude of when Todd Phillips was trying to do Joker, Walter Hamada didn't get it.
Hmm.
And look what it's a rated R film. It's about Joker. I think it broke $1 billion. And if this guy's in charge of DC Films and he's gonna say something like I don't get it or he didn't get it, like it's kind of a red flag for like people who are like DC fans because it's like maybe you don't understand these characters then or what route to go if you didn't get it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Uh, so is there any other things that you want to talk about the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, sorry, I was going on a tangent
No, no,
with the direction of the
no, no,
DC. Sorry, guys, but
no, no.
if I had to rate it, it's my favorite ensemble film for like characters. I still think this one should have been called Dawn of Justice because it's not really. It doesn't feel like a full Justice League yet because they're still banding together, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
would say
true.
that this is more of the Dawn of Justice than what we got from BVS. I would give it a 9 out of 10, just because it's like I said, there's a lot of things that I wrote down here, but I don't want to chime too much. But I know that it just feels like it's properly paced, and I feel like the stakes, the drama, the music, the characters, the arcs. I think collectively it's a really good film for a really great comic book film, and it's 9 out of 10 for me.
Mhm. No, I agree with your rating. I would also want to go with the 9 out of 10 too. There were some parts, like I said, in the movies that
Mhm.
um, I would want to see better, but for I guess the
Mhm, mhm.
all of it, I guess it is a really good movie. I do recommend anyone who's not even just like a DC fan, but just uh, a movie fan, right? Like this is a really good movie just to go out and watch if you have nothing else to do. I mean, we're still kind of in the pandemic right now, right?
Mhm.
Hopefully everyone's getting vaccinated. I mean, that's your choice, uh, but right now is a good time to just sit down and enjoy a 4-hour movie too.
I,
Uh,
I think it conditions you to when you watch a 2 hour film, it's gonna like go quick. Because before 2 hours used to be like, man, this is long. Now like think of a 4 hour movie. If you
that's
can
true.
sit through a 4 hour movie, a 2 hour film is gonna go quick for you. And it's
And
a good I would say it's a good exercise.
and with that, we'll go into the next movie because that is exactly how I felt with Godzilla versus King Kong. I was like, I think after watching Justice League, I was like, wow, what? The movie's over already with King
Yeah,
Kong
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Godzilla?
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh man, but it was good. I really enjoyed Godzilla versus King Kong. I didn't think I would enjoy uh I guess one of these movies so much. It's not like I don't like Godzilla and it's not like I don't like King Kong. I'm just not a big enthusiast when it comes to
Mhm.
the movies. Um but with this movie, it stood out from the rest. I mean, you got King Kong doing basically MMA mixed martial arts moves on not only Godzilla, but the surprise that I was not prepared for. But when they introduced it, I was losing my mind.
Mm,
And that is Mecha Godzilla.
mm.
Godzilla. Uh, but the movie I really enjoyed too, from beginning to end. They didn't really do the cheesiness that much of, oh, King Kong is just doing these for the humans. No, King Kong's not doing this for the humans. King Kong's like actually finding out his past, where he's from,
Mhm.
and just like any alpha predator, if there's another alpha predator, you're gonna
That's
show
true.
who's boss, right?
That's
It's
true.
just
That's
it's
true.
just the
That's
animal
that
instincts, right?
natural order.
Exactly. So I really enjoyed it. What's funny is there were a few characters in there or actors and actresses that I was like, hey, I didn't know they were in here. Hey, I didn't know they were
Yeah.
in here. So one was I really hate myself for not knowing their actual names.
Hmm.
But one was the guy who, oh man, the guy who is basically trying to get King Kong to go to the other world, right? I forget what it's called already. Do you
Oh,
remember?
the
Um,
actor's name?
no, no, no.
Oh, that yeah, the
The
core.
other, yeah, the other world that King Kong's goes back to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. The mirror. Yeah, the inner theory. The solid thing.
but I don't remember. Let's just call it the Upside Down. No, I
Yeah,
was
the
kidding.
upside down world. Yeah, that's
No, I
yeah.
was kidding. So, his first name is actually Alexander. I can't say his last name because it's
Skarsgård.
Swedish. Yeah, Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, so he also played Eric Northman in True Blood, so that's where I know him from.
Mm, mm,
But he was really good in the movie. Um, then you got the guy from Atlanta,
mm.
which plays Paperboy, who's the conspiracy theorist, right?
Oh,
The
okay,
one
okay.
with the chick who plays Levin, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Tree Henry,
Mm,
Tyree,
mm,
Brian Tyree Henry is his name.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so but he plays a really good conspiracy theorist in the whole thing, right? He's the one that's like, you know,
Yeah.
basically for Godzilla, right? He's like, Godzilla wouldn't be doing this. There's something else that's causing this that we're not seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly, we saw what it was, which was humans trying to make Godzilla of their own in Mecha
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the flow of the movie?
Yeah, the flow was definitely. I mean, yeah, it was a ride, dude. Like the movie's a ride. Like I definitely enjoyed the fights, and um, the fights are just the first fight is what the ocean battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just the fights are worth the are definitely liked it a lot. The like the flow. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I did not like this movie.
You did it?
I did not like this movie.
Dang.
I love the fights. I love the fights, but as
Okay.
a whole, I think like because I might be looking at it too seriously, but
Mhm.
it's because of the Godzilla film that I saw in 2014, the one with Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think what's her name, the one that plays the Scarlet Witch. The tone was more serious,
Mhm.
and then when I saw King Kong Skull Island, oh man, that movie was thumbs way down for me, dude. I
That's
did
why I
not.
didn't watch it,
I
man.
would give it a
I
3 out of 10.
didn't.
And I was like, okay, I love Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard is like one of my favorite directors. He did Your Next, he did The Guest, he did one of the VHS segments. So he's
Mhm.
clearly like a thriller, horror, indie type of guy. So that's why in Godzilla versus Kong, you get a lot of like synth type of music at certain moments in the movie.
Mhm.
That's Adam Wingard, and I'm like, that's what I like, but clearly just not really his his type of style of like indie, I would say, and it's more mainstream. um I just like the human plots in that movie were just very felt like Transformers, like Michael Bay Transformers. I
Mhm.
didn't like Bumblebee was good. I love Bumblebee. I love how they handled a giant robot and then the relationship with the girl, and they made it work, right? Like in terms of like the stakes and the tone. But in this one, yeah, you got King Kong, you got Godzilla, and then you got the human plot, but it's not really as relevant as Kong trying to go, or the humans wanting Kong to go to the mirror world to get some sort of energy, right? Because that was the motivation. The company needed Alexander Skarsgård because he was like a genius, whatever. He has a theory of like how what's inside the core,
Yeah.
and they wanted to do that so they could harvest some sort of energy that exists
Yeah.
in order to fuel their creation. And again, it just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was like the science fiction or because of the tone that I got from Kong Skull Island, where it became kind of gratuitous. It became like gratuitous is like just gratuitous things were happening or something, like unnecessary things were happening. That's
Mm.
what I kind of got from Kong Skull Island, and I was getting those same vibes with Godzilla versus Kong. So my expectations kind of went a certain way. Like if I could take those out, I'll give the movie like a 7 out of 7, 7 out of 10. But like for having those expectations, I gave it a 5 out of 10. But again, the who cares about the rating or whatever I have to say? It's just that it just felt like Michael Bay Transformers, the human plot. Like, and there's characters who just die like this, where they do the famous what and like even Asa Gonzalez got killed that way. I was like, oh dude, she's so beautiful, and they killed her like that, right? She was like in this thing, and then she
Yeah, and
gets
then
smashed.
Kong's like, well, who's in here? And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, pa, no. Hey, no, I enjoyed those. See, that's why I enjoy, because
That's
clearly,
true.
if we did live in like this world with like Kong and Godzilla,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true. That's true.
like do I care about these
That's
motherfuckers
true.
in here? No, or pa, no. But
Well, it's just her character was like always trying to be in charge, and then like her dad was in charge of the company, and she's trying to like thing, and then that was her payout was that death, which does make sense with Kong like just sees us in a building or Godzilla just like and then that's it, right? Doesn't have to be so I understand that. But then even her dad, you remember how he died? He's like, I don't know what he said. Did he say, "Oh shit," and then
Yeah. He just turned around and he saw Mecha Godzilla and he was like, "Oh no!" And then there was like, "It's over." It was like,
that well, here's the thing. Even Kong Skull Island, Samuel L. Jackson was like, "Mother F," and then he gets smashed. It was just those type of things. I don't know. I think for me it's kind of cheesy or it's kind of cliche, and that's why like I was like, oh, here we go. It's one of these type of things. But aside from that, like I said, the fights are just amazing. Like I think we see Mechagodzilla do a rocket punch or some sort of thruster punch, and when I saw, it, I was like, dude, that was super epic. And it's just all this destruction. It felt like Rampage, the video game, was going on. It was.
That's true though.
Fun.
But I mean,
it was fun.
But that is what's gonna happen if like these two are fighting in a in a cityscape I guess fight zone, right? There's gonna be all this destruction. I'm surprised that there actually wasn't more destruction. It's like I'm surprised they didn't use more of like buildings like tossing at each other and stuff.
That's true. That's true. They should have just done or like have airplanes and just destroy like
yeah.
And I think it was all happening in China, was it not? The final battle.
Yep, exactly. Is that a thing? is that what they're trying to say? No, I was kidding. No.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, to me, I guess I had no expectations going into it. I only actually watched Godzilla King of Monsters.
I didn't get to see that one.
Okay.
I think that would have further like set my thing in a certain way. But like I said, I love Adam Wingard, the director. Like I like his work. You're Next, The Guest. I know he did another thing. I think he did the Blair Witch thing, and I think he did Death Note. And the
Blair Witch? Oh no, man.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Blair Witch, it's just caused me motion sickness. It's not that I don't like the movie. It's just that I remember that's the first thing that comes to mind is that when I watched it, I got motion sickness, and I was like, "This is the first time I ever experienced motion sickness."
But, you're totally right about the POV style filming.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't want to watch. What was that movie? Cloverfield.
Oh yeah.
Because that was filmed like that too, right?
It is, but I think Matt, when it gets to the action sequences, that's when it gets too crazy. But I think I liked it because I think that was like Matt Reeves' first film. So that's, he's doing the Batman, right? He just finished. I think they wrapped already. But I understand what you're saying. I think it just comes down to the action sequences when it starts to get too crazy. I think there's a movie called like Henry or something, Cool Henry, or it's like an action movie, but it's POV, and I don't think I could watch that because it would be motion sickness for me as well.
I see.
Like I said, the reason why I think part of my expectations were in a certain way is because Kong Skull Island is directed by this dude named Jordan Vogt, and he's gonna do Metal Gear Solid. And I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid, and I'm telling you, I did not like Kong Skull Island, and I'm kind of like Metal Gear can be the movie for, we're still waiting for that video game movie to kind of be the thing, right? Because comic books is clearly like, can it really be done? Can it be serious? Can it be good? And we got that with Christopher Nolan's like Batman trilogy, right?
Yep.
Like it's just like, oh my gosh, these comic book movies are the thing now. That's I'm still waiting for that thing with Mortal Kombat. I'm hoping, or video games. I'm hoping Mortal Kombat does that for us. But at the same time, Metal Gear Solid 2, because that's a franchise or a video game series that takes a lot of time to develop. And I think the director of Kong Skull Island kind of just rushed a lot of things. I was comparing Kong Skull Island to Jurassic Park in terms of like pacing, like how are you going to unveil King Kong, right? and then you get them like right away. But then I think about like the T-Rex. Like you don't get the T-Rex breakout scene until I think midway in Jurassic Park, and because of that, like you're like, oh my gosh, this creature is scary.
Yeah.
And but then King Kong's not supposed to be scary. It's just I just think like things are just happening way too fast in your face. So
Hmm.
that's why like when I was watching Godzilla versus Kong, just
You just
I
felt
didn't
too
get
fast
that,
paced.
but it wasn't that it wasn't too fast paced. It was just I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but like I said, the fights are outstanding. But it's just maybe the human plot took me out or something.
Okay. Well, see, I think that's what I liked though about the movie is that there was less human element, I guess, to it, right? And I guess that's I don't know. That's what kind of why I didn't like about Thanos either, right? Is that they made him like a human element to it. It's like I think we talked about this already,
That's true.
but there's certain times where okay, there's certain movies where I want you to build the human plot, and then there's
Mhm.
times where okay, just leave them out. Like
Yeah.
bare minimum and focus on what we came to watch, and that was King Kong versus Godzilla. Although I will say this movie did feel more like a King Kong movie
Yeah.
than
Oh
a
yeah. Totally.
Godzilla movie. Right?
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, and
fine.
then I just didn't get like why Godzilla was already like just kind of destroying things. I think he sensed Mechagodzilla was in development, like in that very first action sequence, but
Yeah.
I didn't get why he was so destructive. And I also felt like maybe it's because I didn't watch Godzilla versus King of the Monsters.
Mm.
But I'm telling you, the 2014 version was more. It felt more grounded. It felt more serious. Like
I think you get the same feeling if you watch King of Monsters. That's exactly it's darker tone.
yeah.
Um, it's not. It is action, but it's more storyline. So it's like a lot slower pace. So I think you would like King of Monsters more than you would like uh, Godzilla versus King Kong for sure. Um,
I'll check
but
it out. I'll check it out.
but but for sure, I agree with you in the sense that I guess I guess it all depends on like what your expectations are going into the movie. You
Yeah.
clearly had the expectations of this tone with Godzilla from back in 2014. I came in
Hmm.
with no expectations. I came in with, all right, let's see like who's gonna win. That's all. That was my
Yeah.
expectations of
Yeah.
the movie. It was like who is gonna beat who, and
That's true. That's true.
a lot of people, I guess, I heard too, didn't like the way it panned out with the whole this person beat this person, but this person beat this person, and then this
Hmm.
person beat that person.
Hmm.
Like, or this monster, right? It's like,
Hmm.
but I mean, you could understand how it went, I guess, in a way, which I don't know.
The,
I
vi-
was
the
fine with it. I was fine with
the
it.
the visuals are beautiful. Like the visuals are amazing. I love the mirror world or whatever that core world was. I wanted more mythology of like of King Kong's family, but
Yeah,
we
right.
do we do get that in Kong Skull Island. He has his family got killed by another like species in the island that he's from.
Mm,
But like I wasn't sure how that island connected to the mirror world. Like how did the because ultimately King Kong benefits from the mirror world because he gets that hammer
the
and you
axe, right?
the axe
Yeah,
and then you see the lineage I think, but it's still not clear exactly what happened. Like why did they how did they leave that planet and end up in that random island in Kong Skull Island?
yeah.
Um, there's a lot of mythology there, and I think the handling of like Kong Skull Island, like you had like an indigenous tribe, you had this nice biodiversity environment that exists, but unfortunately, they're not the focus of the story. The focus of the story was Samuel Jackson and his troops trying to get Kong or something, and of course you sacrifice these other aesthetics that I think should be explored in those movies.
Mm.
Um, but like, you know, at the end of the day, it's all good. We got the movie that you know Godzilla vs Kong, which is yeah they fight. I mean, Batman v Superman, you know, they only fight like in that one thing. It's not as I don't think it's as epic as Godzilla vs Kong. You know, that fight, that's a fight right there.
That's true.
There's-
I mean, out of all the, I guess, versus
yeah,
movies,
yeah.
this versus by far trumps all the other versus, the Freddy
Hmm.
versus Jason, the
Yes,
Alien
yes,
versus Predator, or so
yes,
on and
yep,
so
yep,
on,
yep.
right? So
They really
yeah.
fight, man.
My rating for it though would be probably a 7.5, maybe 8.
Mhm,
I really enjoyed it. If you just want, it wasn't like too bare minimum on the human plot where it
mhm,
took me out of it,
mhm.
and I feel like for me it was just right. It was, especially since all I came to see was for which monster is the alpha, right? So we kind of got that, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I totally agree with the, yeah, with your review, the 7 out of 10. Yeah, I would have to give it a 5, just because I think I was also making the connection to the Bayformers in terms of the human plot and the robots. In this case, the human plot and Godzilla and Kong.
Mhm.
Um, I think it could have been more serious, but you know, at the end of the day, you want to watch a movie of Godzilla versus Kong, and that's exactly what you get. And you know, the human plot just doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess that's all the time we have. You know, I hope you enjoyed us talking about these two movies and giving us, or giving you our reviews on them. We thoroughly enjoyed Justice League. Clearly, we had different, uh, visions with Godzilla versus King Kong, but this is why we go through and talk it out, right? See things. So hopefully, we'll see you all next time. The next review. All right. Actually,
thanks guys.
the next review
Oh, what's the next review?
we should preview this would be Mortal Kombat, like
Oh
Joe
yeah.
said. So that is coming out next week. Hopefully, we'll do something review sooner than what we did for Godzilla versus King Kong and Justice League. But stay tuned. Hopefully, and you'll see us at the next one. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks to everyone.